Hi everyone, my name is Ignatius Mayo. I started Style and Sound as a platform where creators can come together to share information, resources and opportunities. And today we've partnered up with MakeShift Foundation, which focuses on creating a space for creators to network and again share resources. And today we're very proud to put this event together, focused on bringing together the DJ community. We've got 5 amazing DJs on stage, and they are going to be, let's do that round of applause. All right, we've got 5 amazing DJs on stage, and Easy was supposed to be here, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. But we've still got an amazing night ahead of us where we want to have 2 really good conversations. The first one, which we're going to be having over the next half an hour, is going to be focused on how to grow your career as a DJ in terms of branding yourself and building yourself into someone that's able to reach that next level in terms of your goals. And then we're going to have a short break. And Nadia's going to give us a DJ tutorial after that. Just kind of walk us through the basics of just really getting started and kind of setting that vibe for whatever venue you're in. And then we're going to come back in for another half an hour conversation, this time focused on building your technical skills as a DJ. And then after that, we're going to have, or at least we're going to open it up for a Q&A session. So if you've got any questions that you've had, just in terms of how to get yourself out there as a DJ, whether it's focused around managing relationships with clients or just making sure that you're getting paid by the promoters that you work with, that's the best time to ask them, because these amazing individuals on stage have been through it all and probably have some amazing information to give. Unfortunately, right now we've only got 2 microphones, but I think we can still make it work. So if you want to start by introducing yourself and then just kind of talking us through who you are as a DJ.
Okay. Hi, I'm Helena Starr. I am a DJ and a radio presenter on station Foundation FM. I play mostly house and techno and all things surrounding that.
Hi everyone, I'm Noodle. I'm a sound engineer, DJ, radio presenter, and promoter. I usually play house, disco, funk, and yeah, my night's called Lucid, by the way, if anyone knows it.
Hello everyone, I'm George. I am a DJ and radio presenter. I'm on Rinse FM. And I play, it's always hard to say what genres I play, just bangers basically. Literally, that's what I always say, I play bangers. But yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm ONEO. I play mostly trap, hip hop, like future sounds, and I'm a DJ, club promoter. I run an event called Night Dreams, and I'm a radio presenter on Rinse FM and Foundation, and my favorite color is pink.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Dolce and I'm a DJ and I present on radio every now and again. Also, I play everything wavy, same as George basically. Trap, hip hop, edits, R&B, anything I like, that's what I play.
I just want to open up the conversation to the group, just to ask, how important is your brand as a DJ in this day and age, and why do you think it's more important now?
Okay, I'll go first. Branding is extremely important as a DJ. I would view DJing as being an artist, a musician. I think you should treat it the same way. It's a career, and I think consistency is key. With anything you do, anything you put out, you just have to make sure that it all aligns together. So even just putting out a mix or mixed series, that's also classed as branding. Your look could be classed as branding. Your style of DJing could be classed as branding. Your sound yeah, I think it's important to answer your question.
I think everyone here, probably on the panel, will agree, and I'm going to carry on from what Janelle just said. It is really important, and it's a tough one. Like when I started DJing, I was so not on playing into like the social media side of the industry, but unfortunately with the industry that is a side of it. As much as you may not be someone that wants to post on Instagram or this and that, I'm definitely not. I feel like I have to force myself to, but unfortunately it's a big part of the industry. I would say like even things like your Instagram feed, being a DJ, you don't necessarily have a CV as you would with a 9-to-5 job, and your Instagram feed, for me, I look at it as my CV. Like you see the work that I've done, you see who I've worked with, you see how much I DJ, and I feel like maybe if you try and look at it like that, it can help a lot.
Yeah, just following on from what George said, I guess your Instagram is kind of like your portfolio. So you'd send it on to people so they can see your previous work, but also you shouldn't really rely just on Instagram. You should go out, meet people, tell them what you're about. Even if you just have a short conversation with them and you're like, hey, like I'm Noodle and I play house disco. People know a face and they'll always remember it. And especially if you're confident, that's the most amazing thing. If you're shy and you need to take your craft seriously, once you do that, people will always remember you, and that's definitely part of your branding. It's like one of the most important things.
Again, I feel like everyone's covering the best parts here. But I think George mentioned I think Jay mentioned about mixes. That is a massive part of your branding. You can have an amazing Instagram and it can look really pretty, but if you haven't got any content to back that up, then it doesn't work as such. I think the best advice I got from someone was just to put something out. Even if it wasn't the best mix you've ever done, it wasn't perfect. If you're putting content out there that people will, like you said, listen to, remember, a lot of times promoters don't listen to your entire mix, they're actually skimming through a little bit. But still make it good. But don't be so much of a perfectionist. I definitely am, but try not to be so tough on yourself and put stuff out there because you need it to work hand in hand.
Also, coming from like a promoter's angle, when I do book DJs for my event, it is almost as important as like the skill as like what people put on their Instagram. I know that sounds like terrible, but it also like it shows their personality. It shows like what they're doing, like if they're doing other events that are similar. It gives like a promoter a really quick like visual of like who you might be, and if you would fit to their event. And just going back what Helena said, just putting content out there. The more you do, the more you're gonna figure out like who you are really. Like kind of branding myself into what I want to do in like my events and stuff. It's made me learn a lot about myself and like what I'm willing to put out or like share and stuff. If that makes sense.
And this is to everyone, like what online platform do you feel has been the most helpful in helping you establish yourself as a DJ and letting people know that you're out there and available to work with?
I think as much as like the conversation has been a lot about social media, like we need to remember that being able to DJ is also definitely the most important thing. So I think SoundCloud for me is definitely the most important. I upload everything to SoundCloud, all my mixes from like back in the day, radio shows, and I don't know, I think Instagram and social media is important. I know I said it was important earlier, and you do have to play the game to an extent, but I think SoundCloud for me is like, if you don't have a SoundCloud or a MixCloud, like any place where you're uploading your music onto, then I don't know, there's no point being just an Instagram DJ.
Same thing really, like SoundCloud is where before I would consider myself being a DJ, but I hadn't put any mixes out online, so how does anyone know? And then I started putting them online, and that's when I got bookings magically. Like I started sending them to people, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, we'll book you." I'm like, "Oh wow, it's that fucking easy." It's not. A lot of people said no. But also, for me, I guess if anyone wanted to get into radio, that is a platform which I have found to be extremely beneficial, mainly because I love talking about music, so it's a great avenue to do that. But also from putting shows or or emailing radio stations and potentially getting shows on there, or knowing friends doing guest mixes. I've got a lot of opportunities from that as well, so I do recommend it. Also, it's so much fun, so if you ever get the opportunity to do so, definitely have a go.
I think what will be quite interesting is to understand how you move from, you've got your stuff out online and you kind of have that identity as a DJ. How do you use that to get bookings? Or is it like what you said, Jules, which is it's more offline focused and then just like online complements the offline work?
I don't know, when you were saying that question, it kind of took me back to when I had my first gig. And I did what George did, like I posted videos online, but yeah, you got to kind of take that step into reality. And I'll go back on what I said before. I was just going out to important sort of networking club nights, not necessarily like panel talks, but actual club nights where you'll meet people that will be beneficial to you putting yourself out there. So like meeting other promoters and meeting them on a personal level, and then them saying, oh yeah, we should get you down to this night. And then that's how you start building and getting out of like the online sort of platform into reality.
Yeah, exactly that. Like networking is key, I think. More so than like online presence, definitely being in person, meeting the people who run the events, and actually just showing support to the events that you want to be on. A lot of promoters and people really rate that. Like if you're going to the events themselves and saying, I love this place, like, I would want to play on it one day, I feel like people would more likely want to book you for that. So definitely. And also finding collectives, even spaces like this is a wonderful thing to meet people. Places like Normal Not Novelty for the ladies. Platforms like that. Even just going out and partying, go to places you like. It's fun.
I've had people email me like mixes and stuff who are like starting to get into DJing, and they'll email me their mixes, and they'll be like, I'd love to play your event. I think I'd really suit. And I'd be like, oh, have you been? They're like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you think you'll fit? But I appreciate the grind, but also it's like, all right, if you can't even be bothered to come and like whatever. So I think when people do come and like show support and come see you play, or even they go and then they message you after, they just say, hey, it was a sick night, whatever, then you're much more inclined to remember them. And definitely the personable, is that a word? Personableness level definitely works towards your favor. And I was doing a lot of brand stuff when I started, so I was like DJing in store for like Topshop and H&M, and I really wanted to get into like club bookings, and to move from brands to clubs, it's like really difficult to just find a club night that's just gonna put you on without seeing you out playing first. So I just started my own club night, and I was like, I'm just gonna book myself because I know I could do it, but I just wasn't given the platform to do it. So I just did it myself, and it's built to what it is now, and it's taken a few years and it's really hard, and I want to quit every single time. But it gave me the space to kind of enter the club world that way.
Wait, tell us a bit more about your club night. Promo time.
So it's called Night Dreams, and like the idea behind Night Dreams is that I really like the dreamy, like future beats kind of selection vibe, but I also love like the dirty ratchet trap. So to me, it was like Nightmares, which was like the trappy, like harder stuff, and then Daydreams, which is like the future beats side. So it's like Night Dreams together, and that's kind of like my personality as well. It's bi-monthly at Ace Hotel.
Right. Can we get a round of applause?
And this year, I did leading from that, so it started as that, and then now this year I did the closing night of Skate Lays at Somerset House, and then also I'm taking Night Dreams to Fresh Island Festival. So.
Can we get another round of applause, please? Alright, I love that. In terms of like when someone sees you having worked with like a well-known brand, now they kind of hold you to a higher esteem and maybe you get more jobs off the back of that. Has that been the case?
Yes.
Okay.
It's true.
Alright, so how do you begin those relationships with those brands in order to kind of get those opportunities?
Networking is key. Before I started DJing, I was always in music just going out to a lot of clubs. I just like partying and I love being in the night scene. And because I wanted to work in the music industry anyway, I was always going to a lot of panels and using my Instagram as well to connect with a lot of people. LinkedIn is also a really powerful tool. And I guess when people see you putting yourself out there, they want to know more. They'll be intrigued. So I think, yeah, that's how my journey kind of came about. I did know someone that worked for a brand, so that helped me. But yeah, if you don't make the first steps, then yeah.
Just kind of, how do you use LinkedIn as a DJ?
So the way I use LinkedIn is quite. So I'll find somebody, for instance, so I'll follow a company that I want to work with, and then I'll look at who works there. Then I'll go on their page, and then if on the right hand side you'll see people that have viewed other profiles as well, or like people that are linked to them, and it always tends to be in the sort of field that they're in, and you kind of just get lost in the rabbit hole. I've spent hours on LinkedIn before just connecting with people and yeah, just reading up on what people do and the types of roles there are. There's so many roles in the creative industry, it's crazy. But yeah, if you just connect and send a little note, and then they're on your radar. And I tend to use it as, I think you should use anything social, for Instagram, Twitter, even LinkedIn. You should use it as an address book. I remember when I was putting out one mix, one day, I think it took me about a week actually, but I went through everyone that I followed and I made a spreadsheet of what they do, their for real, their email address, and I created a mailer list, and there was about, how many people did I follow? Like 800 people in that mailer list, actually not even including Twitter, and I sent an email out. Now, whether that was linked to other bookings, I didn't even know, but it helped me on the way, so you need to really put yourself out. I was nervous to press that button. I was literally like, should I do it? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. Did I answer the question? What's the question?
I was just thinking that. It was how to like work with brands, or also club nights as well.
No, so like first we're going to look at brands, relationship with brands, and then also club night. But then I think that was like a really good way to answer that question, where Jay got really specific in terms of how she reaches out to brands and kind of creates those relationships. So if you can kind of get as specific as that if you want to.
With brands, like a pre-warning if you are just like starting out DJing, like be prepared to not be paid. I'm gonna keep it real. Like realistically, if you're a beginner DJ, at the beginning stages, like brands, it looks cool like working with this and that brand, but ultimately like a lot of brands will sign out don't pay. So I would suggest doing bookings and doing club nights in general is a good way to not only like practice your craft but to also network. There's been times where I've been DJing when I started out in like the dingiest pub in like Hackney somewhere, and the creative director of this company would be there, or this person that runs this club night or owns it. Like the more you DJ, the more you put yourself out there, the more likely someone is going to come across you, and whether that is someone that works at a brand or that is someone like Annie that's a promoter out having a drink on a Saturday night. DJing, it's like, because I guess we're all good at our jobs, to be benefiting and making a proper like living and wage, it takes a long time to get there. So I'd suggest don't necessarily just go into DJing for the idea of like working with brands and getting free Air Force Ones, because one, it takes a long time to get there. It doesn't necessarily, and also it's capped. There's only so much or so far you can go with that. So I don't really know if that's confused anyone or just answered the question, but
I think that's very helpful because it kind of paints a more realistic picture of what it's like to work with brands, which I take it takes a while to build those relationships.
It does take a while.
Because I think you kind of painted that realistic picture of like, this is what it's like to work with brands sometimes. Why would someone want to work with a brand? Like, what do you get out of working with brands?
I mean, free Air Force Ones. I'm joking. I think, I don't know, like I'm really not funny about, like I've worked with a lot of brands. I'm lucky to say that I've worked with a lot of brands, but definitely like in the beginning stages, like just as I said before, look at it this way, if you're a very intermediate or beginner DJ, you're gonna wanna work with brand. Can I say brands? Am I allowed? We're not going to get a lawsuit.
No. Just be
Like, yeah. So, yeah. You're going to want to work with a cool brand that has like a tick on it or something. Because it looks sick for you. Like, you'll be like, oh yeah, I DJ for this sick company that has a tick. For them, do you think they care? They're like, you're going to benefit more than them. Also, with a lot of this brand, like doing brand work, most of the time they don't care about the music that's being played. In a lot of like brand events I've done, whether that's been like private events, whether that's been in-store stuff or whatever, they just want like a DJ to look cool most of the time. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm really going to make a lot of enemies, but it's true. They just want a DJ at the event to photograph, so it looks cool, whatever. They don't care, so they won't pay. Like, if you're a beginner DJ, they're not going to pay you, and you're going to do it free because it's cool, and you get to say you've done it. But I would highly suggest think about the reasons why you want to start DJing, because if it is just to work with brands, then I wouldn't suggest. I would say definitely try and do more club sets or bar sets, or there's so many other avenues, radio, diving in, trying to work with brands initially. I just wouldn't suggest. I don't know, some people on the panel may disagree with me. I'm being devil's advocate a bit, but no, it's long.
You love brands?
No, yeah, I love brands now because they pay me, but like, you know what I mean?
Alright, which money is straightforward, like brand money or club money? Because I feel like club money is promoters and sometimes...
Alright, brand money, but club sets. That's how I feel.
Do you want to break it down?
Okay, depends.
So obviously brands have more resource to give you more money. So yes, brand money for sure, because you can get a bag or two, depending on what the opportunity is. But club settings, because I feel like that is where the vibe is. That's where I have the most fun. That's where I can experiment a bit more. I treat brand opportunities, it's important to me, but I'll treat it more like a practice hour because it's not exactly in a club setting. Whereas if you're getting into the DJing for the love of the music, then it's always going to be in the club. Do you agree with me, guys? I don't know. What do you think?
That's where it started, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole point of like why people started DJing is to be out in the clubs. Like, forget like the 21st century. People started DJing out on decks way back when there was no like real technology, and they made the deck a musical instrument just because of obviously the deck itself, but like the vibe. You could be in the dingiest of places and be the sickest DJ. So yeah, if you want to get into brands, it's cool, but always remember like the initial reason why you want to be a DJ and where it comes from. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Alright, before we move on to like club nights, a few people did ask, like, if you are working with brands or if you are managing those relationships, how do you transition from being an unpaid, happy to help out DJ to, hey, this is my fee?
I think it's time, and I think just know your worth. Like, it's so easy. I'm 100% guilty of it. I think we all are, and whatever you do to kind of allow yourself to be walked over, and no one's setting a bar, and you don't know when you're being a freelancer, you don't have straight cut promotions, is what I mean. So you're like, oh, how do I know? I feel like I should be charging more. I feel like I should be charging now. And my friend, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, and she said something really interesting. I'm going to quote her. She said that if you know you're worth more than £100, don't take those £100 jobs, because the person booking you will always think of you as the £100 DJ. And when those £1,000 gigs come, they won't be like, oh no, don't book Jules for that. She'll do it for 100. So I think it's really important to know your worth. And even if it does mean you're missing out on that particular thing, there may be a bigger bag later on. Just believe in your source. Everything with DJing is about confidence, I think, in terms of like your mixing, your mentality, getting bookings. Everything is about confidence and believing in your source. That sounds cheesy, but it actually is true. It's 100% true.
Yeah, for sure. You don't have a manager. Well, some DJs have managers, but you're not going to have someone promote you and be like, oh, you've reached the next level of your career, here's another, £50 an hour. You have to be, only you are going to ride for you at the end of the day, so you have to be the one to decide what it's going to be. I've always treated my fee as a measurement of what I've been doing. So when I've reached certain pinnacles in my career, that's when I'm like, okay, cool. Even when I'm seeing myself do better, because it's always a learning game. Like I've still got so much stuff to learn in DJing, but when I see myself getting better, or the feedback's better, or I'm getting more bookings, or I don't know, more of a look in, then I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe this fee needs to get raised a bit more. Don't be afraid to demand money. I think I used to be shook to discuss money. It's awkward as hell, especially when someone comes back to you and it's like, oh, actually, I don't have budget for this. Like, don't be ashamed to, don't feel afraid to put your foot down and be like, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. So I used to do that a lot. Just weigh it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've got to gauge the situation, I think. I said time just because you can do an event with someone one time, or maybe even a couple of times, like I said with brands, but after those couple of times say, hey, I've done this a few times now.
Yeah.
I deserve a little something to get me going, as I am now an official DJ. But yeah, I think what everyone, again, I'm like just copying what everyone else is saying.
I think when you're creative, like money's always like a very interesting discussion point. So while we're at this point, does anyone have any questions around DJing and money that they want to make sure don't go unanswered?
What did you start your fees off as, and how did it progress? Like £50, £20? How did you weigh it up? Did you ask like other DJ friends, or did you set your own fee?
When I started DJing, I started playing like in branded stuff, but also like bars. So they'll set like a rate, so you don't even get to ask what you want to get paid. I think what I started on was like, it was like 4.5 hours for like £125. It's a long set, but I think it got to a point where I was doing enough that I was like, I'm worth more than this. Like I know this, because you get booked for like an hour set. You're not paying for that 1 hour. You're paying for all the practice hours they put in, all the time that they were looking for music, that they were putting their set together. You're paying for all of that. So like £100 for an hour is like, it sounds like a lot, but really, if I'm spending 4 hours, promoting and, putting my set together, finding music, it doesn't actually, it's not like hour by hour in that sense, which is why, two people can have similar sets, but one person can be £1,000 and one person's £100. But I think it'll get to a point where you'll know you're worth more, and you'll also like just talking to other DJs and stuff.
Just to add on what Annie said, I think it's, we started off DJing completely differently. As she said, she started with like brand stuff in store. I definitely started like DJing in pubs, and when I first, for the first year I was DJing was when I was like maybe 18 or so. I was DJing for free. But then also I was DJing for free because I wanted to. I never thought, DJing was always a hobby and something I just did in my bedroom, but I never thought, I'm gonna start DJing to make it a career. So it kind of just progressed naturally over the years. If you're starting out, don't be scared to DJ for free, because if anything, you're not gonna have CDJs at home. If there's a bar offering you somewhere that you can not only practice on CDJs that are $4,000, you're not gonna really have them at home to start with. And DJing, the experience of DJing to a crowd, just getting that vibe. And also, as I said, like, you never know who you're gonna meet, even in the digital places. That's not me saying like, just work for free, wherever, but don't be too proud to do gigs for free. I was DJing for 5 hours for like literally Coronas. that was my payment, and I was gassed. When I first got my first £100 for 5 hours, I was like, what are you being serious? Like, I was gassed. And then obviously you get better at your craft and become more skilled, and it's not so much as a laugh and you're getting pissed with your mates, but okay, this is work. And that's when you'll be able to realise or differentiate, okay, I should be getting paid this much, and if you generally don't know, always, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone else, but feel free to reach out to someone if there's a DJ that you know or even admire. Like, if someone, like, random people message me, questions all the time, and I always answer, especially when it's, no offense guys, look, guys as well, but like especially like young women learning to DJ or getting into it and not knowing necessarily the right things to ask or the right things to do. I was definitely in that space when I was younger, and I had someone that I asked questions to that I didn't really know that well, and really helped me. So yeah, just don't be afraid to ask as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry, go on.
oh, sorry.
If you can also answer this bit, like what are the price notches that you might go up?
Okay, so just following off from what George said, same thing. When I first started DJing, I went to a Red Bull panel, Normal Not Novelty. All the ladies here, you should definitely join the Facebook group. They do a lot of panels and workshops for people that want to be DJs, producers, and engineers as well. But I met Jyoti, who is a radio presenter on Rinse FM, and she was really helpful. I was emailing her back and forth a lot. This is before I even DJ'd out live, and I asked her I didn't ask her what her fee was, but I asked her what I should charge, and she basically said I should gauge it on how well I think I am. And I done a lot of Google research, so I Googled the hell out of DJ sign fees, but I initially started at, I think I started at 50 or 75 an hour, one of the two, and then eventually when it got to summer and I done Wireless Festival and a few other festivals, that I pushed it up to 100. So yeah, it's just like certain points in your career, you kind of just mirror that and you decide, you know, where you should increase it. And then what else was I going to say?
No, I think that's
you asked me. Oh, okay,
the
yeah,
notches,
notches,
yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any other money-related DJing question? Oh yeah, go on.
I've got quite a lot of questions actually. Obviously, we'll keep them dispersed for it now. My name is DJ Tees.
Hey DJ Tees.
My question's around like self-awareness. Yeah. So George, like, you talked about when you were happy to do the DJ set for a couple of Coronas. Yeah. But, and I'm sure most of you will agree that you probably started quite shit, right? Or some maybe. Yeah. At what point did you, like, what was that kind of moment, or what was that gig where you were like, okay, now I'm actually sick and I should charge, or like, how did you kind of gauge that? That's what I'm trying to say.
I think I was always sick, firstly. From day one. No, I'm joking. I think for me, what gauged it is when I was getting asked more than I was asking. Like I was more in demand than me putting myself out there. I didn't, even that club that I was DJing in the first time, I didn't even want to, I was doing my friend a favour because her DJ cancelled last minute, so I was like, alright, go on, I'll do it. And then over time, rather than me putting myself out there, more people were coming to me. And so I was like, okay, like, you man want me, like, I'm gonna start charging people. But I don't know, it's that, and also, I guess like things like everything from like, it depends how much you're gigging, but things from like crowd reaction, feedback you're getting, if people are like gassing you, you're getting, you know what I mean, you know, if you're a DJ, you know when you're doing bits.
I'm good as well, don't I?
Yeah, okay, let's do back to back. But yeah, you know, you just know. It happens naturally, and it's still happening. It's still something it's hard to answer because it's still something I'm figuring out now. Like as the levels getting different, it's just like, oh, where am I putting myself now? And as you get higher and higher, people, maybe it's harder to talk about rates where before it may have been more comfortable. Like, oh, how much are you getting for that? And then it's like, oh, it's getting a bit, I'm always open about like how much I make or who pays what or whatever. But I forgot your question. I've gone on a tangent. Someone else.
Pick your battles as well, because some things like festivals, sometimes they don't pay you. So I'm going to go on a festival lineup because it's an amazing festival. Whereas some brands as well, like they will pay you more, but you might not promote it. It's like, okay, I'll do that. Even if I'm not playing exactly what I want to play, I'll do it. But pick your battles, definitely. Some club nights also don't pay. It is just about building up image, and that is the whole thing. Not just obviously like social media, but making yourself known in the industry. That's when you will start to see progression within rates. I don't even think about the money as much as it is a part of our career. We have to think about it. I'm solely doing it because I want to express this music in the way which I can do. I can't play piano, so I DJ.
Also, what club nights did you guys play that didn't pay? Because I pay everyone.
No, it was like Open Park.
That's all I want to ask.
All right. Last call for yeah.
Hi, my name is Alex. I want to be DJ. Just out of curiosity, just like in any other industry, is there any pay gap between gender?
Yeah, there's a pay gap in every.
Yes, that's interesting.
Or is just a resounding yeah?
I think yes, 100%. I think a lot of promoters are male. This isn't to discriminate, this is just a fact. A lot of them are, and I think there's maybe a preconception that not all female DJs or women DJs are at the same level as male. Not to say that this is like across the board. I think it varies, but I've definitely known and maybe been a part of nights which I know that my male counterpart is getting paid almost double than I am. It's definitely a problem within, like I said, with most industries. How can we change it? Like Annie said, do your own nights, start your own nights, book the people you want to book them and pay them the same or pay them accordingly. I think it's just something that you've got to tackle day by day. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a rant on Insta Story last week because I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough of people trying to take the pee out of a craft that I really love, and I feel like I've put a lot of work and a lot of hours in, and I do feel like being a female in this industry, it is hard, and I feel like, yeah, we can change it by doing club nights and Annie, she's a promoter and she books female DJs, and I don't even like the term female DJs because we are DJs and we just happen to be female. But I think we also just need to start calling out these promoters and these brands that feel that they can take the biscuit, basically, because we're all dope on this stage. I mean, we wouldn't be on here if we weren't, so I think people need to start paying up.
I think personally, I haven't noticed, or maybe I just haven't asked, like a male getting paid more than me, but I've definitely noticed male promoters putting me earlier than other male counterparts who I know that I'm better than, like, not even that, but I just have more experience and whatever. Anyway, and do you know what I do? I just smash that set. I do such a good job, and I just watch the next set, and it's all right. But you know what? I'm not gonna tell you how you should treat me. I'm gonna be the best DJ, so that next time you won't make that mistake again. Because that's the only way people will change. I think if you come at it in like an aggressive way, I don't know how much we're gonna solve. Sorry. No,
I get it.
But for me personally.
No, I get it. And also let the work speak for itself also, because
Also, I get to go home earlier, it's fine.
yeah, talent beats all in it, so just let the work speak for itself for sure.
Yeah, like if anyone, okay, like just basically those that journey from not being the best DJ that you can be when you're starting out, doing club nights, and like building your confidence when you know like maybe you haven't done a great set, and kind of going back and saying, can I get another opportunity, or like what is that process like?
I feel like I can talk from a personal experience. My friend's at the front, she's just laughing at me. She's been there. Like I've done sets where I've literally come out crying because I know it's good, but like when you just sort of think in your head it's really bad. And the thing that I've sort of overcome with that is I take a little recorder with me and I plug it into the back of the mixer and I record the set so that when I finished, I'm not like thinking in my head it was terrible. I can listen back to it and learn from it might have been really sick and it's just in my head that was really shit. But if there were little mistakes, I can definitely learn from that and know how to make the next set even better. Yeah.
It's okay to climb.
Yes. Don't beat yourself up about it.
A very, very exciting DJing workshop courtesy of New. And she's just going to be walking us through like the basics of approaching like your deck and just getting the vibe started.
Okay, so generally in most club settings you'll have the Pioneer like CDJs, you'll have different versions of them. Club standard now is the 2000 Nexus 2, and they're like a touch screen on the top, so like how you see the waveform and how you choose your different songs, you can actually touch the screen and like manipulate different things in that. So those are like the latest versions. And then the mixers, you have different versions as well, but generally they all sort of do the same thing. You just select your songs and you have a playlist, and your mixer's connected to both decks. But usually what you'd want to do before you actually plug in your USB has anybody heard of Rekordbox? So you obviously know that you need to like make a playlist in Rekordbox, and that will then read your BPM, and then it will also load up more quickly on the CDJs. And so when you select, I mean, how advanced is everyone here in terms of being able to select your playlist, put two songs together and mix? Is everyone fairly okay with that? Okay, cool.
So, it's not really a question. I think you wanna like, some people might not have done USBs, or some people might be using laptops. Like, do you want to go into that?
Yeah. Okay. So if you're using laptops, I actually started out using like the vinyl scratch with Tractor. So you have like a little box and you have the little cables that connect into it. I'd definitely say make sure you've had some practice with doing that before. So I've had sets where somebody's pulled out the RCA cable and all the music's cut. So definitely understand how you need to switch over from somebody who's maybe using USBs. Do you guys have anything?
My first ever gig, I didn't check the equipment. That's actually just a point for when you're starting to DJ. Make sure you know what equipment you're going to use when you get to the venue, because if you go and it's something you've never looked at before, they haven't got the right cables, or they don't actually allow you to use like a laptop or something, that's a big problem, which I've definitely done before. So make sure you know what is there. And if you want to use a laptop, you can use Serato. That's also compatible with Pioneer. So if you've got a box, make sure you bring that with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, I definitely say as well, take two USBs with you. If you are on USBs, if you're on laptop, that's cool because you've just got your library there. But if you are on USBs, take two with you, because sometimes, even if you ask the venue what decks they have, they might just throw you some old ones and then you can't actually link the two together. So I've definitely turned up somewhere with just USBs and I'm like, shit, how am I supposed to mix? Which is a good backup. In general though, whenever you're mixing, I definitely say, plan your set out dependent on the night that you're going out to, just because then at least you're not wasting time running through different playlists. You can kind of just solely focus on the moment there. Okay, so everybody knows that the middle section is where the mixer is, and you've got two decks here. They can either go in on, this is 4 channels, each channel is exactly the same. So this setup is basically this deck's on channel 1 and this deck's on channel 4. You've also got your cues on the mixer, so that's how you can hear in your headphones. And then, you've got a point where you can put your USBs in, or if you're on laptops, you plug in via the RCAs. And then you also have like the effects section on the right hand side of the mixer. So it doesn't even matter how old or new the mixer is, they're always on the right, and there's also a little section on the left as well where you can assign them to each channel, which is cool for when you're trying to blend or you kind of want to build up a section. And then does everybody know about cue points and like hot cues? So you can also sort of set those in Rekordbox before your set, which again saves you time and you already know like your journey through how your set's going to go. But if you haven't done that on Rekordbox, you can actually do them on the CDJs. So you've got your hot cues on the left, and you've obviously got your main cue and play button in the bottom left corner. Has anybody got any questions about the text?
I think just quickly, if people don't know what hot cues are, they're like entry points into the song. So like if you wanted to come in on a song on the chorus or like the beginning of a certain verse, you can like mark it so that when you're DJing, you don't have to look for that point. You can just click a button if people didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so on these decks, you have 3 different hot cue points. So like Annie said, you can jump straight to maybe the intro, you can jump to the second drop, or you can jump to another section, which is really good for when you just kind of want to cut in a mix and you kind of just want to create a build up from there. I'm really nervous. Yes.
I've got a question. So when I take out, I've always used my laptop, and I'm not sure if every CDA has like the HID mode. So I've seen people with like a box. What is that box? Because I've just used like 3 USB cables.
Yeah, so like for example with Serato, you have that box then ends up having the outputs that go to the mixer and then the inputs from your laptop that goes into it, and that just sort of transfers the data over from your laptop to be able to use the actual CDJs, which is good because then at least you have your whole library on your laptop and you can translate it into CDJs. So. I'm just gonna do a mix.
Whereas another girl, she's like, man, she's too old school, like everyone's laptop, so she wants to know what your message was. I want to learn both, because I want to be sick. But yeah, I don't think make it up wrong, but like everyone is laptop because they can't.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like right or wrong in terms of whether people use laptops or USBs. It's obviously dependent on like what your preference is. And yeah, going back to what Helena said, it could be genre specific. But I started out using my laptop. I just ended up using USBs because it was really long for me to have to keep getting all the cables out and carrying like the vinyl with me, and I just found it really long. But if you feel like you're more comfortable using a laptop, then there's nothing wrong with doing that. That's your preference.
I definitely agree with what Noodle said. I think there's no right or wrong way to DJ. I think it just depends on whatever you're most comfortable with. For me, carrying a laptop's long because I like having USBs on me. But I do think it's good to learn each craft if you can. Like, just so you're comfortable. There's been so many times I've been put in situations where I have to use equipment different to what I'm normally used to. So I think if you're starting on a controller, make sure you know how to use CDJs, make sure you know how to use USB, make sure you know how to use a laptop if you need to. Like, if you can, practice on vinyl do. I think if you really, it depends how seriously you want to take DJing. Like, I am not a perfectionist, but like I like to be very skilled in the craft that I do. So I took a lot of effort to make sure I'm comfortable using all DJing equipment, because there's been times where I've turned up to a set or on the day before, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we only have 1210s, which are the vinyls. But they have like the fancy new mixer where you plug your laptop in. And if I didn't know how, I would have been screwed. So yeah, I think make sure it's fine if you want to use laptop, but also make sure you know how to use, or you have USBs ready or loaded and you'd be comfortable using them if you need to.
I think a lot of people would want to know, as an up-and-coming DJ with limited resources, like, what are some of the avenues that you can kind of go down to get more practice hours?
I think Jay was saying it earlier, there's now amazing studios which you can rent out for however you want, really, for decent prices as well. It's not like crazy expensive, so that's always good. Even actually just using, I mean, for me, when I first started, I didn't have any equipment, but I just downloaded Serato and I was using the playlist I had of music, and I was like doing it on the computer. Does that make sense? Like, on the software you can put 2 tracks together and you can hear how they sound. So I was just playing around with like soundscaping, I guess, and trying to create a good mix from that. And also there are, I mean, obviously it is expensive. Like, even just the buying of music, I found has been a big expense on my life. But finding on SoundCloud, there's a lot of places you can get free music on there as well. So that's a good thing to look at. But definitely, if you've got any friends who've got decks, just ask them. Ask us if you want.
I would recommend anyone to get a controller. That's how I taught myself, that's how I learned. And you can get really cheap ones for like £150, £200. And it basically means that even if you do learn to DJ on CDJs, you may get a booking, like a party booking. They don't have decks, they don't have a speaker. At least you then have decks. They may be tiny, but they do the job. And I think it's just great to have it in your own space. Pirate Studios is amazing, but it is long for me personally to get to because there's not many in London. So there's one in Greenwich, one in Southwest, one in West, and one in Northwest, but there's none in East.
Hub 16.
Oh yeah, Hub 16 in Dalston, yeah. Yeah, big up Sam. That's another one you can go to, yeah, for sure. But getting a controller is a really great way to just sit on your bed or on your desk, wherever, and literally just play around with buttons, find out what works. That's literally how I done it. I read the manual, but it was pretty much just go. I was just like, okay, what does this do? My first mix, I didn't even know about the cue buttons, so I was literally just pressing play. Like, it's the worst. I took it off SoundCloud, I was like, it's too embarrassing, this video. It's a really bad mix. But, you know, just getting into the flow of things, get a controller for sure. You can either get one that's compatible with Serato, which is the general software I think most DJs use, but there is Rekordbox as well, and there's Traktor. So you can get a controller that's compatible with either Rekordbox or Serato. I got Serato, but yeah, definitely get a controller. It's a cheap way to learn.
What's a good place to get?
eBay, yeah. eBay, Amazon, the Pioneer website itself. There's a lot of like tech websites, Facebook groups. Some people selling second-hand decks. You can get really cheap decks second-hand if you want. If you want to get CDJs, they're really expensive. Like a bag, a deck, really, isn't it? It's like 4K for that alone. It's a lot. So yeah, you can either get those second-hand, but a controller does the job. Trust me, like you can do a lot on a controller. Get creative with it, definitely. Sorry, is that a question? Oh, hi.
Hi. How much do you guys plan your set? And then if you have planned it, how ready are you to then depart from that online?
So I would always recommend, it's definitely good to have playlists, but I would always recommend to go with the flow because you never know where the night's gonna go. A promoter might come up to you and be like, oh, can you actually play jazz or whatever, R&B, I don't know. But do you know what I mean? I think, yeah, it's good to have a set in mind, but just know that you may deter from that. And part of being a DJ is knowing your music. So no matter what you play, you know when the vocal's gonna drop, or you know when the chorus is gonna come in, or do you know what I mean? The bridge is gonna repeat. Like, you need to know your music. So I don't plan my sets personally. I've definitely planned that. For instance, if it was a boiler room set, you probably would want to plan that because you want to practice, you know? You know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure that's on point. But yeah, I definitely, music management is definitely key. So that's how I, not necessarily plan my sets, but I put my music into genres or playlists. It'll be like UK rap, trap. I've got a turn up folder. That's just all turn up tracks, you know what I mean? I've got a chill rap folder, you know what I mean? Like, just separate into genres.
Just to say, it's great work. Just to say, it's sort of.
Can I?
All right, I'll let you go. I was just gonna say it's good what everyone's doing, just kind of like asking questions, because I want to open it up to that kind of environment where you can ask very direct questions to our panelists, and then I feel like they're very happy to answer them. So if you've got any questions as we continue, just raise your hand and someone will answer you. Go on, Helen.
Sorry, yeah, it's nothing too big, but just to add to what you were saying, I do both. So I like the sets that I do, I like to have a fresh one for, depending on what they are, of course. So I have folders for each genre, and then I will create a playlist for the set that I'm doing. You can deter from that, you can go off, but I think the advice I was given was actually to have the first 3 tracks ready. So you're not nervous when you go on stage. You know you're going to play those 3 tracks, and if the crowd don't like them, you can go, okay, I'm going to have a little think about what else I can play. But having those actually just makes you feel so much more confident when you hit the stage. I'm kind of into like soundscaping in terms of creating a set. So yeah, I do like to plan, but if I've got those playlists as well, and I know what's in them, and I've know them off, but I know every single part of those songs, then you tend to feel a lot calmer when you're on stage. Yeah.
That's actually a really good idea. I never thought about doing that. I usually go off and play, because I don't like to, if there's a DJ playing like 70 BPM, like kind of slower stuff, I kind of like maybe start at that level and then build it up. I don't know, it kind of depends as well, like what time you're playing. It's all relative. Like my record box is the mess. Like I have so many parties that I've done that if I read a crowd, I'll be like, oh, it was like that party, and I'll find that party, and I'll kind of like see what's up. And then just kind of, but you just have to read the crowd really. Like I have like a basic idea of what I want the set to be like, and like certain tracks I want to play. But then like a DJ before you could have played that like within the last like 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, fuck, like, alright. But then, yeah, you just have to read the crowd.
I've got a question over here.
Hi. Okay, so I've been DJ for like 2.5 years, and I just recently lost my USB, which apparently should keep it back up, but I never got the memo of that. Anyway, so I've done like frantically getting all my music back, and I'm part of DJs Circle, so luckily I'm okay with that. So I just wanted to know, where do people get their music? Because apparently YouTube to Flymo is like a no-no, but DJs Circle tends to just have like a lot of new music, which is cool, that's why I normally DJ, and like a lot of like remixes. But I just want to know where people get their music from.
SoundCloud, I think it's a massive place. SoundCloud, Bandcamp, I use that religiously. Bandcamp, yeah. It's lots of genres on there, but it's usually like up and coming artists, so it's quite good to find some rare things. Also, iTunes, I buy a lot of music on iTunes. I spend a lot of money on music, to be honest, because I like having quality of sound. Not like, you don't have to get WAVs. You can get MP3s, they're just as good, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of like a purist thing to say, you must get WAVs. MP3s are just as good, they're cheaper as well, and they take up less space.
I'd probably say Beatport and Traxsource for me, just because of my genre. So if you're into like house or disco, or I actually think they have garage on there and like some bassline stuff as well. That's a really good place. Most of the tracks in there are pretty reasonable. They're just like 99p. And you can also like create subgroups in your basket. So like you can have, I don't know, like tracks that you really need to download, and then you can have ones there that you want to save for later if you haven't got enough money. And both websites, so you can look at your favorite DJs and they'll put out monthly charts of like songs that they're really into. So then you know that that's the kind of sound you want to go by. So yeah, I like those. Traxsource, it's like so it's TRAX and then source SOIUS.
Any other questions?
The same question to everyone.
Does anyone have any other music sources that haven't been mentioned?
Whitney mentioned DJs Circle, definitely get that. It's a 3-month subscription, £60, and one thing that is really helpful, especially with hip hop tracks, they have intro versions. So it's basically like a 32 bar count before an actual song starts. So it just allows you to transition in, gives you time to get creative. And what's it again? Clean? Oh, clean, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, you get clean versions.
On radio and I'm like, this is so
yeah, it's trying to fumble the bag. Yeah.
Do you know what as well? I wasn't gonna answer this question because I was like, loads of my music's from LimeWire back in the day. No, now obviously I get quality stuff, but my iTunes is just. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, LimeWire was there. But do you know, like, it's annoying how much record labels like send me music, but honestly, like, there's so many mailing lists. If you say you're a DJ, trust me, they will send you like multiple songs daily, like new releases. So also, if you want free music, new music, high quality, definitely labels and pluggers, radio pluggers, definitely.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Just going off the back of that, you talk about like people sending music and stuff like that. What is like the sort of bad behaviour that you ask producers to kind of like stay away from when they send you music? Is there anything that like people who send you music you would not want them to do?
Just to kick off, do you have an example?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think not personally for me, but like, I know sometimes, because I'm coming from a producer perspective, I would sometimes just blast everyone with one particular song, and like over the last 2 years maybe, I've tried to stay away from doing that because it's embarrassing at the end of the day when you're trying to send someone a song and they're going to air you because you've already put that sort of bad perspective on yourself. So is there anything from the get-go that you would ask producers not to do in order to, in order to not put that face?
If we reverse that, is there what makes you listen to a song that you get in your email? Like, why did you choose this one, and why would you not choose it?
Depends what time I get the email.
It's random, but sometimes I get people emailing me saying, hey, I've listened to your show on Foundation, I really think this would fit, and it's not the genre that I play on my show, and I'm not going to listen to it. So I'm like, I listen to it, and I'm like, well, this is pointless sending it to me, and I don't feel like it's like I don't know, that just kind of grinds my gears a little bit. But I feel like you should send it out to people. If you know that person could pick it up, I don't think there's anything wrong with sending it out to as many people as possible. I think go for it, really. But yeah, if it's not their genre, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, don't be embarrassed, but yeah, as Elena said, like make sure your genre is specific. Like actually do your research and think who would like this song, what DJ plays stuff like this, or like. Because people said, will email me, like, oh, I want this artist to come on your show. I'm like, it's a drill up, what are we going to talk about? I don't have a clue. Honestly, where are we going with this? And it's just that you're a copy and paste job, you can tell immediately, and then I move it in a pot. But if it's personalised, even something like saying the person's name, hi, whatever, listen to your shows, I think, or I've listened to your sets, I reckon that this may suit you. Let me know, just make it personalised though. Mass email, yeah, but also sometimes quality over quantity, you know.
I think also make it as easy as possible for people to listen to music. Sometimes people DM me on Instagram and send me a link to something, and I'm like, okay, so now I have to copy that entire message, get that link somewhere. You've given me 5 steps to do. If you send me an email with hey, whatever, and then you've attached the song, then all I have to do is open the email, press the song. It's if you've given me 5 steps, that's 5 times that I might be get distracted and do something else. So I think do your research and also make it as easy as possible because people are lazy.
Any other questions?
Hi, my name's Helena. I'm just right now I listen to hip hop, future sound, R&B more. But I find myself better at DJ house and disco. I'm just wondering, does it come across as almost not a good brand if I come across as a DJ? Or is it there a way to brand it that makes it look more intentional?
I think definitely speaking from someone that is definitely a cross-genre DJ myself, I don't think, for some people it is a thing, people will be like, oh, you play everything, what do you do play? I was like, bangers. But just picking up on what you said you listen to hip hop and future beats, but you're better at DJing house and disco. But why are you better at DJing the genres?
I feel like I'm mixing just a lot, and I also listen to it as well, but obviously if I'm on my way to work, I'm not listening to disco and house.
Of course, but you can DJ disco and house, but also DJ hip hop and just because disco and house may be easier to mix, still you can mix hip hop and future beats. You fully can. You can literally do it all. There's no reason why there's no reason why you need to be okay, I'm doing house and this is what I'm doing, not at all. And again, I think, as I said before, DJing is all about confidence thing. I think even just saying that is fully sorry, I don't mean to be putting you on the spot. But I think it's a confidence thing. I think house and disco, we're definitely starting off, it's easier to learn the mixing and the transitions, and then sometimes with hip hop and vocals it's harder to mix, so it's harder, but you can do it, and I think you should. I'm gonna follow you up on that. I'm gonna make sure we're doing all the genres.
Just to follow up on that, I go to a lot of gigs, but when you hear about hip hop DJ, I don't know if it's just me because I've got into DJ more and I listen to something like that. It's not what I'm sound like. You hear it, on stage that I want to be on. I'm like, that's not what I
That's
want.
them. Yeah. You're you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, it kind of comes with money as well. Instagram, it's like my Instagram don't necessarily have as many followers, but they're doing what I want to do. It's like, how do I know that I'm good enough to get to where they are without doing what they're doing, which is hype over time sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but again, like that's everyone started somewhere. Even people that do have a big Instagram following or are hyped now, like you don't know anyone's journey. Do you know what I mean? Like you're on your own journey, and like someone said to me very early on when I was DJing, it's like literally do not compare yourself to anyone else, or don't. It's so easy to get wrapped up in like, oh, I'll see what that person's doing, because everything's on social media. Like that person's doing that gig, or that person has that many followers. Like honestly, the best advice I can give, and what I was given, is just like focus on yourself and what you're doing, and you'll create your own path. Don't compare and don't try and compete or keep up, because I know DJs that have like less than 1,000 followers and they're sick. They don't even put like sometimes like talent. DJing is like a very cloudy industry. Let's just say it how it is. It can be. It really can be. But I'm a very firm believer in talent does exceed all that clout. That will run out. It'll eventually, like, what happens if Instagram stops working? Like, can you DJ or not? I don't know. I'm
Also, on the like, right.
You
want to build a career and not like a stint. And like, yeah, what's that saying? The marathon. What is it? You're running a marathon, not a sprint. Because I get that too. Like, I'm just like, you know, if I met someone like 2 years ago and we were like at the same level, and I see them like doubling their followers, and I'm like, how, like, seeing them do gigs and stuff, and I'm like, but that's them, and like they might have a 5-year plan, whereas like I want to do this for the rest of my life. So it's like, whatever, like I'll get there, it's fine. And Instagram's like, it's cute, but like,
Yeah,
it's
don't
not
worry,
your
don't worry
whole
about
world. Like,
You'll find there's anyone you well. And
Yeah.
that's another thing. You can do both at the moment if you're just learning. If you're just learning and growing and evolving,
I think finding your sound takes time, and I think it can change, it can evolve. I think if you are authentic to yourself, people will recognise that. And if you want to mix all of those together, sick. Not many people do that, so it's like, cool, do it.
It's me again. How do you maximize an opportunity like that? So like, let's say you've got like not your first big booking, but you've got like a booking that you always wanted. You're like, oh, I'm at Wireless. You said it was at Wireless. I'm at Wireless now. How do you maximize that? Because sometimes you might get that booking and then like you're dry again for another 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever. So what do you do to maximize that and to keep them opportunities consistent?
Do a banging set.
Literally.
That's
No, but-
actually a given though, but sometimes you're not.
Sorry, go.
I was gonna say that sometimes it's like, in terms of like, I think you even mentioned as well, like bringing a videographer, like
Right.
what do you do to like make sure that like it's known and like you can obviously banging set is kind of good advice.
It is, because the amount of people, and I'm sure you guys can also testify, that have come up to me and be like, yo, you're hard, what's your Instagram? Or, do you know what I mean? Word of mouth is so powerful. Like, social media is a powerful tool, but just someone being like, yeah, she's sick, or did it, trust me, like, if you do a banging set, like, let the work speak for itself, I'm telling you, like, everything else will follow, trust me.
And also, like we were saying before, like if you're doing a set at Wireless or you're doing a big set, but you can upload pictures, like you can upload things, and you can send that if you ever wanted to get like an agent or something like that. You can start sending those kind of clips and images and what you've done to people, or to even if it's a bar gig, say, hey, I did this really cool event. You can send them a couple clips.
Yeah, send videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, let the work speak for itself, but definitely big yourself up. So when I send out emails, I definitely put, I've worked for, I've done this. Like, not even a big up, like, you know, big yourself up. Like, don't feel like you're being too confident or being like, I've done this and I've done that. Like, yes, tell them, like, that's your CV. And you should be proud of what you've done. So let them know.
Word of mouth is huge though. I think that most things, we can all say, like, most things that I've probably done has been through word of mouth. From doing those great sets, from really focusing on the craft, it's just that consistent grind, to be honest.
I think what we keen to kind of discuss is like,
is the role of the DJs changing right now in terms of, because there's a lot of conversation around being a club DJ or just having to kind of put yourself out in a certain way? Is that changing the way people appreciate DJs, or is there a case where bottom line is still the same, DJ set the vibes and,
I think it always changes. I think if you look back, like when you were saying before, when people started DJing, people weren't looking at the DJ before. People were facing each other and dancing. People now look at the DJ when they're mixing. That's who they're focusing at. So that's massive in itself. I think it is starting to change in that people are going back to the dance floor, starting to kind of realise that. But there is a massive thing with cloud DJing, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but am I? Am I? Yeah, I kind of am. I'm like, what is it for? What is it for if you're just watching someone? It's like, unless you're, sometimes I watch DJs, I'm like, what are you doing? That's so cool.
Yeah.
But you want to be dancing, man. That's the whole point.
All right, and then I think on the other side of that, there's so many cool DJ collectives that are coming up right now where it's just DJs supporting DJs, because that's a very amazing thing. What is the mindset around creating those, and do you think it's valuable for young DJs to have those with their friends?
Yeah, I definitely think it's really important to support your friends that are DJing or people that you know that really need that space where you feel inclusive, and especially, I'm just going to shout out my event here, we actually have a DJ competition every single event solely because we want to support DJs that are up and coming, and you might not get into those massive clubs that you want to get into, but everybody needs a starting platform, and it's important that we all show support to people that are talented but aren't exactly getting that level of recognition yet. I can't remember what the question was.
No, that's it, the value of having those DJ circles with your friends.
Yeah, don't be afraid to meet people today, create bonds, create relationships, and make sure that you all support and love each other.
Are there any DJ group chats that are out there where DJs connect or anything like that? Any platforms that people should be able to look up for?
Keep hush.
Yeah, keep hush is good. And even events like this, as Lulu just said, just mixing or mingling with people. If you don't have any other friends that are DJs, or you may need someone to say that's also a similar stage to you. If anyone is, I'm going to plug myself now as well. If anyone is learning to DJ or knows how to DJ and wants to get better, I'm hosting workshops with Adidas all through March, and they're free. So it's a sign-up thing. So girls only. Oh wait. But yeah, so things like that. There's always, I feel like more so now, especially brands, which is great because they allow you to create a free space and make it very, very accessible. But now more so than ever, there's so many workshops and people teaching each other how to DJ. Do you know what I mean? So definitely keep an eye out for things like that.
And Red Bull. So
yeah,
Red Bull, Normal Not Novelty. That is a Facebook group as well as an event you can go to. It is female focused, but I think it's more inclusive. But still, it's a great event. And also you've got Rhythm Sister. They're great. They do a lot of DJ workshops. They've actually done some here as well if you're local. Sisu Crew. There's so many, but Keep Hush is a great one to look at because they're actually events you can go to as well. And you can meet the people who run it, and they do DJ workshops and all the rest. They've actually got a space at the moment in Dalston. It's 1 week left to go. They're doing workshops in there. They've got nights, events. It's a great community to be part of. So I recommend it. Sisu, SISU.
So sorry, yeah, my collective. I didn't even say. It's called Girls Can't DJ. So if you look on Instagram, I think it goes live. The next workshop's next Wednesday, but it doesn't go live on the app. You just sign up free through the Adidas app. Just book a spot, and I think it goes live on the app at the end of the week. So, or maybe tomorrow, the next couple of days. But I'll post. I don't know.
Some events do a USB hour as well. It's like open deck, so it just allows you to DJ. It's not paid, but it's practice hours basically. So look out for events that offer open decks as well.
And someone else asked, like, what's the value in having an agent, or can you just kind of manage your own career for a certain period of time?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about
Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm talking loads.
I think manage yourself for as long as possible. It's great experience learning how to negotiate money and fees and things like that. That's one good part. And also, you'll probably give around 10% of your fee, and whilst you're starting up and you're probably still getting those £100, £200 fees, you want to be able to keep on to that and hopefully use that to either better your career. So I would say don't focus on that. Those things are so secondary, and agents will come to you when you're ready. When you are at that point where you are in yourself and in your career smashing it, agents will see that and they're watching. They are watching online. So just keep doing what you're doing, and I wouldn't even necessarily think about that yet. Just that's from experience.
let me see. Yeah.
Hey, so well, I am DJ Dolphin, and so I like playing a lot of cumbia, which is a specific Latin style. But here most of the people don't know it. Like it's very rare to find people that they know what is this kind of style of music, and there are like no places where people play this, or like pubs or clubs, but it's great and it's very danceable, but it's not very discovered yet. How do I find my place to play this kind of music?
Start your own night.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Start your own night, like find a space, someone like here, email Pop Bricks and be like, and people love like new stuff, like if it's especially it's a genre that there's nowhere else, everyone, they're gonna want to be the exclusive place that has this genre. I'm sure you're not the only person in London that likes this genre. I'm sure there's loads of people that are like, God, I can't find this night anywhere. And then you'll be the
There's a couple nights. There is a couple nights. Check out. I can't remember the name of them exactly, but I know someone who plays around that kind of genre. She's called Manuka Honey. Check her out on Instagram. She plays a lot of those nights, and they look amazing. So check her out.
Can I just speak on the manager thing? Because I actually had a manager and it went south. So I would recommend that you only bring someone into the fold when it makes sense. I think the reason why it flopped was because it was so premature. He came up to me and I wanted to obviously go to the next level, but I just think it wasn't ready. I was so used to working for myself it's basically like my baby, innit? To give someone my baby, you also have to be in it 100. And I think whoever you involve in your team, whether that's a collective or your manager or your agent, like you need to make sure they're riding for you 100%, because it's a journey that you're both on together.
I got told that having a manager or an agent is like a marriage. So
Yeah,
you've
no,
got to
literally.
do you want to spend every day with that person?
Right.
You wake up at 3 a.m.
They're
you
there.
call that person.
Right, are they
It's
going to
like a
be
marriage.
there?
Are they going to be there? So I would treat it like one. Don't divorce.
Let me see. Do we have any other questions before we go into just like a chill networking space? Go on.
And a lot of you also have like radio shows. How do you trade up on like DJ and doing a radio set and some selection shows, or do you DJ like one on radio?
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
Like you have radio shows as well.
Yeah.
So how do you like trade off DJing as a DJ and then being a radio presenter, and like your song selection, or do you DJ live while presenting?
I think everyone's show is different, and my shows definitely take different formats. Normally when I do my genre, it's like I'm mixing, like it's like I'm doing a DJ set, and I'll like chat a bit in between, while the song's playing. But there's also sometimes where I do the drive show, and it's completely presenter based, and it's all like based on computer, like playlisted, like I don't even control the music, which I think is a good skill to have, be able to do both. It's important. But yeah, with radio, even if that's something you want to get into as a good way of practicing mixing or just becoming more comfortable with decks, there's so many community radio stations, especially in South London, that you can hit up. Well, I 100% recommend. That's another really good way to get yourself out there is radio. Stations like Bellamy, to name one of many. Like there's so many Deja Vu FM. Like there's so many community radio stations that are always looking for new budding presenters and DJs.
Also, radio helped you to get bookings as a DJ, even if you're
Yeah, definitely. 100%. A lot of bookings do come from radio. Either if it's the radio themselves getting involved with nights, or if it's just people hearing your show. You forget, I don't drive, so I don't listen to the radio as much as I used to when, I used to school run with your mum, but a lot of people do listen to the radio still. And I'm always surprised when people are like, oh, I listen to your show, or a lot of people are listening, especially now to internet-based radio stations like the smaller ones. So to put yourself out there, 100% radio is a really good way to get your music out there and push yourself if you're not doing club nights, reaching people.
I was just gonna say, how do you actually get yourself on radio?
Just email.
Just email.
Nag them, go there, like roll up. Honestly. Okay, that's what I did. I'm weird though. I'm weird.
I actually put mixes on SoundCloud, and someone on Rinse just emailed me and said, I liked your mix. Do you want to do a guest show? And I shot myself. I actually jumped up and down. It was amazing. But again, when I was going back to saying before, just do stuff. I don't even know how he found my mix. It didn't even have that many plays. I have no idea how. And he just did. And yeah.
Alright. We've got a question there, or was that been answered? And how do you get that covered boiler room set? Is it one that you just kind of work towards, or you just do it? Just keep putting stuff out, and something will happen hopefully, or can you actively work towards it?
I definitely say try and get into some of the, if you're looking at the boiler room kind of stuff, try and get into some of those events. I was going to boiler room events for 2 years, applying, RSVPing with different emails, and just getting that one email response yeah, you got in. And I'd go on my own, I wouldn't know anyone, I'd be so anxious, but I talked to loads of people, and there's even a video of me standing over the deck in front of the camera trying to watch the DJ while they're doing it. But don't these are things. It's still online. It's actually my crazy cousins. Anyways, but yeah, don't watch it. Try and get into these events. Same with Keep Hush as well. You can RSVP to them and try and meet the people that are in charge of them. And actually, I ended up talking to one of the people that work for Boiler Room, and I now work for them as a freelancer. So if you don't ask, you don't get.
I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you very much for our lovely panelists out here on stage. Thank you very much. You've, literally given a lot of information that I know you've learned the hard way, and it's just amazing for you to be able to take the time out of your evening to come here and then share with the next generation of amazing DJs who hopefully are going to take this information and then use it to just grow their careers, and also know that they can always reach out to you through Instagram DMs or emails, and it's all about forming a creative community. It's all about forming a creative community where you know that there are always people that you can turn to when you're having a hard time, because a lot of the times as a creative, you're not sure where your money's coming from, you're not sure how to chase down invoices, you're not sure how much you should be charging, you're not sure who you should be connecting with in order to grow your career. So it's amazing that we've got a generation of creatives who have been able to establish a career for themselves and are happy to show you the way forward. So hopefully you can pay it forward for the next generation after you. So just to highlight, the platform that we've got is called Style and Sound, and it's focused on creating a space where creatives can come together to share information, resources, and opportunities. Today we're recording this panel, and it's going to be available online. So if you've got any DJ friends out there who would have valued this information, please do share it with them. And also, we will be having more events like these where we get different creative groups together. But the emphasis is always to create a space where people can really be open and ask questions that maybe they can't find answers to online. And sometimes it's just amazing to talk to the people that you actually do look up to and then get that information from them then and there. What I would also like to do is shout out MakeShift Foundation, who have been able to make this event possible and partner with us and kind of create an amazing night. So if you are creative and you want to put on events for yourself, or you just kind of want to figure out what resources are out there to kind of help you take what you're doing to the next level, please do look up MakeShift Foundation online. You can find them on Instagram. It's just the word MakeShift, the words MakeShift Foundation. We've got a few feedback forms on the chairs in front of you. If some of you have got pens, please do start filling those out. If not, pens are coming around. So if you take 5 minutes to fill those out, and then we're going to go into just a chill networking session where you can actually approach the DJs if you've been too shy to ask questions out loud. Thank you.
And also, on behalf of us, thanks for having us.
Thank you.